Welcome to Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. Our friend Matt Gender was over and chatting with me about life. We were talking about doing things you love to do so much that time flies away, a concept known as flow. He said that when he is engaged in that kind of thing, he feels like he is standing on the precipice of possibility. Wow, isn't that a powerful statement? I'm wondering how many of you resonate with that statement and how many of you resist that because it's easier to stay safely in a place where you know what is going to happen. Our world is full of both of those kinds of perspectives, and that is probably as it should be, for it brings a sense of balance and stability to our society. I once had a conversation with our school psychologist when I was the school counselor. I met Mark in the teacher's lounge one day and excitedly told him one of my new favorite quotes. It's not given that one should live in mediocrity, undisturbed calm, or boredom. It is given that one should be an edge dweller. That's from an unknown source. But Mark said, Chris, I'd like to stay closer to the center of the circle. Wow, I learned that day that not everyone gets excited about standing on the edge or plunging into the unknown like me. We need both kinds of people for balance. It is amazing to me that people generally know who they are when it comes to comfort levels with change and with risk. Where are you? I used to give my students a color personality inventory. There was a series of questions in this inventory that everyone had to answer rated from 1 to 4, 1 being not like them and 4 being very much like them. When the numbers were added up and categorized, the assessment would reveal a color, indicating what personality traits were strongest in them. Students would ooh and ah when they read the list of personality qualities, totally amazed that the assessment would know who they were so well. To me, it's most striking that most people know their preferences in answering personality questions. They pretty much know who they are. They pretty much know if they love teetering on the precipice of possibility or if they'd rather sit comfortably in a soft chair looking at the things that make their lives familiar and in control. Both kinds of people are valuable and necessary to the stability of our society. In 2005, and I know this date because the story is in my journal, I went to a dermatologist for my foot. We were talking about life, one of my favorite topics, and Dr. Karkos told me that he's found that people look at life in either of two ways. Most people look at the greatest opportunity or the worst that could happen. He said that his dad told him that he always looked for the worst. Then Dr. Karko said, I can see you look for the greatest opportunity. I told my dad about that conversation, and he said he felt there was one more in it was in the middle, and that was the person who looked for the easiest and most practical. I found that everyone I shared the concept with, most always, would know immediately on which spot they stood the worst in things, the easiest and most practical, or the greatest opportunity. Where are you? I was a school counselor at the time and shared this in a lesson I was teaching to the fifth and sixth graders. Do you know that almost each of them in those elementary students knew where they stood? Wow. Why is this important to know? Mm, I'm not sure. But it is something I love thinking about and observing in my dance through life. It's also important because we need to respect and honor the fact that not everyone leans into the same kind of choices or places of comfort that we may hold. It's important because there are times in life when we have to choose the spot on that continuum that we don't normally choose, to stay toward the center instead of on the edge, to do the most practical or the easiest, or to do the thing that scares us. Life brings us experience, and experience with reflection helps us discern choices. I spent quite a bit of my career in the elementary schools. Teaching critical thinking has been a big push. As I reflect, I'm wondering if we are going about that in the wrong way. Critical thinking is not something that can easily be taught as a skill without the foundation of experience. Today, as the author Jonathan Haidt writes in his book, The Anxious Generation, children are being overprotected in the outside world and underprotected in the digital world. Screens can't give you the kind of experience that allows you to discern whether a risk is wise or not. As Height proposes, we need to give our kids unsupervised play to learn the kinds of challenges and mistakes and risks that gives foundation and meaning to their experiences, hopefully translating them into mental structures to support critical thinking and wisdom. My dad always said, everything gets you ready for the next. Hmm. Let's join my friend Matt and look for moments when we can stand on the precipice of possibility. Some of you may choose a wide precipice rather than a sharp edge. Either way, look at everything that happens as a way to grow in your thinking, understanding, joy, and wisdom. This week, on your bathroom mirror, write, I will step over the edge, holding possibility in one hand and discernment in the other. Join me next Monday for Live Life Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.